stuck here. The cops won't bother me. First crash.
I am on my last bar on the Bistrom. I need to fill it up with some gas. Let's see how much I can get away with. I usually put $10 worth of gas, but gas has gotten a little expensive in the DC metro area. The CB500 was kind of nice because I would fill it with $7. And when I got to Arizona, that's when gas got pretty expensive. It was like $2.90 a gallon. So yeah, guys, I wanted to talk to you guys about Adam Carolla. Yeah, it's kind of odd. Yeah, sure, I'm riding a motorcycle. This is a motorcycle vlog, and it's like, why the hell am I talking about a podcaster? You know, Adam actually talks about motorcycles as well. Became a viable way of making money for a lot of people. People realize that you can make tons of money by podcasting. So a lot of these radio guys started becoming a little bit more savvy to it. I remember when he was a radio personality, he got fired, and then he started his own podcast with his buddy, The Weeds. And I was in a cubicle, still working at 9 to 5. And I love listening to him, but nowadays Adam Carolla sucks. He's not very good. And it's not that he changed, it's not that he became a different person. The problem is he hasn't changed. He hasn't evolved as a podcaster, and people have gotten so much better at podcasting. The podcast world has gotten very different. It's just not like a little tiny show anymore. Hey, look at this element. That looks really cool. That's awesome. There wasn't like a lot of great shows on iTunes. And the podcasts were very amateur-like. And then it started picking up. He got into the business. And at a certain point, he was the man. I mean, his podcasts were the most popular podcasts in the world. And then more and more people got into podcasting, famous people. And I bring up the podcaster Joe Rogan because his podcast is something that I would consider to be probably the most amazing podcast I've heard. The format that he uses anyway, because it's him talking to someone for 2 to 3 hours. And usually he gets very interesting people. He gets philosophers, great minds go on there, company owners that own really large companies, Elon Musk. I mean, he gets people who are fascinating. And nobody ever shows up for the Adam Carolla show, other than like a little circle of friends that aren't very good. Like when you compare the repertoire that Joe Rogan gets in comparison to Adam Carolla, there is no comparison. Adam Carolla gets like the same people that he's been friends for the longest time, and they're not very good anymore. They're kind of washed up celebrities. He's gotten some decent people, but he comes across as so arrogant that it's kind of hard to listen to him. And I used to really like it because, you know, he was kind of condescending and it was kind of funny. But now that we have so many choices, there's no point of listening to Adam Carolla. And I kind of been giving Adam Carolla like the benefit of a doubt, you know, but then he gets guests and he asks a question, they begin to answer, and he goes off on a tangent talking about himself, and that's the end of the interview. He's like always talking about himself. I think at one point he was talking to Albert Brooks, and he would ask him questions. Albert Brooks was about to answer, and he would interrupt him and just talking about him and his kids. I'm like, what the hell? Why would you want to have anybody to interview if you're just talking about yourself? I'm just gonna unsubscribe. No point in like listening to Adam Carolla when we have really, really good podcasters now who are really interested with the guests. Like, they're interested in talking to the actual guests, not just talking about his glory days in high school. All he talks about is high school, like playing football. Like, who cares? You don't like soccer, who cares? And the thing is, you know, he talks about how if you listen to the wrong music, it'll make you dumber. If you listen to like rap and all of these things, it makes you stupid. And there's been studies of people who listen to classical music, or babies that listen to classical music, end up to be smarter. It's the same thing with podcasting. If you listen to stupid people talk on the radio all the fucking time, then you're gonna get stupid. If you listen to smart people, then it makes sense that you would get smarter, because you want to hang out next to smart people. That's what I'm saying. Like, when you compare Joe Rogan to Adam Carolla, man, Joe Rogan is like an onion, just multi-dimensional. Adam Carolla, you know, he's kind of like a nouveau riche guy who got rich. He got extremely lucky, but he is a talented guy. That's one thing I cannot say against him. He is talented. He's a very talented guy. He's very quick on his feet, but he is not when I was stuck in a cubicle, man, and listening to Adam Carolla, I thought he was very funny, and he's had like very funny moments. But podcasting is changed. He's no longer the king of podcasts. Now he's the small fry. It's funny how things change like that. Podcasts I really like are the Joe Rogan Experience. That one is extremely good. He's a fascinating guy. I really like him, and he comes across as a really nice guy, even though in his outward appearance he seems like a Hulk that will choke you out with his dick. And that might be true, but he comes across as a really nice guy and an intellectual, a curious guy that just wants to learn as much as possible. And I think that's why I like him. I'm not into his MMA podcast, but I like the other ones. I will see you in the next video.